Right. Mobility overhaul 52, straight into it, lacrosse ball. We're going for upper body of the day, full upper body overhaul, key areas, getting the best out of it, 2 minutes on each side roughly. So as always, if you feel an area needs a hell of a lot more work, just make a mental note or write it down and go back and start making that priority on your list. First thing we're going to do is what we call the trap scrub. Some of you are familiar with this already. So the trap scrub is simply the trapezius muscle group. So you see these big meaty muscles at the top of your shoulders here? They run down into almost like a diamond shape, down to here. That is your traps, your trapezius muscles, okay? So when I say trap scrub, you're gonna get the ball on one side, making sure we're not putting it on the spine itself. So you can start anywhere from here, you can go out onto the wing, and you can come down this area, anywhere you want, okay? See if you follow around the sort of border of your scapula, as in your shoulder blade, you'll find a lot of painful areas potentially in there. You're picking a spot, you're spending 2 minutes quality time on each side, so pick a spot that's, you might know your little painful areas. I certainly know mine, I always get some round about here, okay, so I'm gonna go straight there. Get the ball, simple as, I'm gonna lie down, and then I'm gonna find the sore spot. So if you've never done this before, okay, let me make it simple. Make it simple for yourself. Don't overthink it. Get it into the area that I showed you, okay? It should feel like all the meaty parts. There's a lot of big, thick muscle groups there. So for me personally, it's always round about the upper trapezius, okay? So more out towards the shoulder. I get a lot of tightness, a lot of knotted up problem area in there for me. So straight away I've found it. And that's something you'll get to know as you do this more. You'll get to know your own little niggles, aches and pain areas. So if you're not quite sure, explore around that area that I've just described to you on your upper back, going down into the centre of your back, until you find a bit of pain and discomfort. Once you find pain and discomfort, find the dead centre, as in the worst part of it, okay? And this is when you're going to see my pain face, because this is always brutal for me, okay? This is my area that I need to work on and keep on top of, because I've got a big head that I have to drag about all day long, you know, plus the weight of the world's on my shoulders. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to be resting as much weight down on here as I can. I want you to imagine that the ball is just getting wrapped around all that muscle tissue and it's sinking into the back. Once I've relaxed onto that area, then I really want you to start pushing down into it, as in really push down into it, but stay relaxed. One thing you can do is if you bring the feet close to the butt, just like a glute bridge, you can bridge the hips up, which might help. It might help get more weight on the shoulder. I don't want you to bring it all the way up and hold a stressful glute position, a glute hold, stress position should I say. But I'm on there, I'm putting the weight down, it's pretty nasty, okay, but I'm coping with it okay. So all I want you to then introduce is a little bit of a wobble, side to side, up and down, just trying to break up that muscle tissue, okay? And it's as simple as that. You're trying to inflict as much pain and discomfort on that area specifically, as you can handle, okay? So the first part is just simple. I'm just smashing it out, spending the first minute getting as much weight down on there, making sure you don't fall off of the dead center, okay, the worst part. So now I've been on there a wee while, okay, I've got a fair bit of weight on there, it's still feeling pretty nasty, but you know, I've not had enough. I'm gonna take it to the extreme now. So now this is where I want you to look in. I want you to get your arm, so find and make sure you're on the dead center of that pain and discomfort, and I want you to pin it down onto the ball. Then keeping that shoulder blade touching and pulled in, and the shoulder joint, so if you look in now, the shoulder joint itself staying pinned to the ground. I want you to straighten that arm out straight up above you. So I'm straightening it out, straight elbow, straight arm completely, shoulder pinned to the floor. And this is where we take it to the extreme. Keep the arm nice and straight, fingertips pointed. I want you to take the hand and put it across to the opposite side of your pelvis, okay? So straight away, you should feel that working out. And that'll feel pretty nasty. And then from that part of your pelvis, I want you to then bring it back up. And then this time, I want you to take it over your head, as in back the way. Now keep the arms straight. You'll get to a point potentially where it feels so disgusting that you'll be tempted to ease off and let the arm relax. Don't. Okay, so for here right now, that feels absolutely awful. But rather than give into it, I'm going to hold there for a couple seconds. And the idea is, I'm trying to stay relaxed, everyone. It doesn't work if you start tensing up because of the pain and discomfort. So now I'm overhead, and I'm going to repeat the sequence across, up, back. And all we're doing there is just helping smash it against that ball in the whole smash and floss procedure that we always follow. And the whole time you're doing this, I want you to try and get more and more weight and push down on it harder and harder, and keep making sure that you're on that dead center. You're working that painful spot here, everyone, okay? We're not relaxed, we're not off it, we're just trying to break it up. And you should, after 2 minutes, which is now, should feel that, oh, you know what? This is a lot better than when I started. If it's that bad, it's not going to be cured, as in they'll probably still find it's pretty tender. But you should find yourself being able to put a hell of a lot more weight on it than when you started, because when you first went on it, you were probably going, ooh. Whereas now, I'm putting a lot of weight on it, I'm pushing down hard, I'm staying relaxed, and I'm able to smash and floss it with that arm. And that's what I mean by improvement. If I'd jumped on this straight away and started doing this, my face would be, ah. Okay, change sides. So what I want you to do is replicate the side, the area that you've just worked on. Find a bit of pain and discomfort around that same area and get on it, okay? It's not rocket science, so we won't waste time. You obviously can't see the ball because I'm lying on it, but you know the area. So for me, I'm starting at the base of the neck, and I encourage you 2-2. 2-2. Is that correct grammar? Two also 2. So found a bit of pain, discomfort. Now I'm just going to really get stuck in. So side to side it. And I want you to imagine that side to side is just you pulling those muscle fibers apart and letting you get in even deeper, okay? Just to get right in the realms of that pain and discomfort. If you've not got any, keep having a look around. You're going to find some. If you've not got any up on the upper traps, the upper trapezius, see if you follow down the border of your scapula, your shoulder blades, and you'll feel that when you're putting the weight on the ball, you'll feel exactly where the border of your scapula is, because you'll feel the bone. On the inside of your scapula, you've got a lot of connective points where the muscle attaches to the bone, and you'll probably find a lot of pain and discomfort around there, okay? A lot of little knotted up, uncomfortable areas, little pockets of pain. So I'm on one now, usual. Pushing down on it, trying to get as much weight down on it as I can. I'm giving it a wee gentle wobble side to side to just try and help break it up further, trying to get in even deeper with that ball. And remember, we're not fighting it. The muscle group that we're on right now is completely relaxed. Oh, okay. Just work as hard as you're able to and try and relax and concentrate. It's very easy to just lie aimlessly on the ball because it feels nice. You're trying to be proactive, we're trying to work this area, break it up, and unfortunately that does bring with it a bit of pain and discomfort. So I've been on here, I've been pushing a bit of weight on it now. I feel like I've got a decent bit of weight on. So now I can start the arm sequence. And I'm going to take my time with arm sequence. So I'm going to get that arm nice and straight. Once I've got that arm nice and straight, fingertips pointed, elbow locked out, I'm going to make sure that that shoulder is pinned to the floor and I'm not rounding the shoulder as I go. Then I'm going to cross to the pelvis, and if you get to a point where it's excruciatingly uncomfortable, don't rush it, take your time, because that is when you'll be tempted to start bending the elbow and give in to the pain. We don't want to give in to the pain, it's not easy. So we're pulling back with that arm, above the head, keep it as straight as you can. And this is where for a lot of people they might think, ah, the pain's gone. Think again, have a wee wobble around. Chances are that arm movement's just dropped you off. It's made that ball roll off for the painful spot, so make sure reset. Oh, aye, there she is. Relax into the pain and discomfort. Don't let it overwhelm you. Get that arm sequence going. Good, so why are we doing this one? It's an important one, okay? We carry a lot of tension, bad posture in the shoulders, in the upper traps. And you're going to find you just get jammed up in some horrible positions. So we're just trying to break it all up and free it up, Okay, last couple of seconds, so really go for it now. And you can feel that pain and discomfort running up your neck, okay? We get a lot of tension in our necks, and usually it's been feeding off of the shoulder, okay? So that's something to bear in mind, and certainly from experience, like I say, maybe it's just because I've got a big head, but my neck starts to get pretty tight, and it's usually feeding off of that area. Right, okay, so I'm up. Shake out. Now, it's time to get stuck in to one of the nastiest areas of the upper body, okay? The latissimus dorsi. See those big meaty back muscles that you can reach around and grab here, okay? The ones that stick out like bat wings. These are the ones that tend to be tight, that restrict a lot of people. So not most people, a lot of people struggle to get their arms up over their head. They start to shrug. Sure, it can be tightness in the chest and shoulders, etc. But 9 times out of 10, it's this little bit here. Okay, we've got a lot of tightness in the lats. The back muscles, feels like it's the side, but it's the back muscles swooping round. So this is the target area here. So get your arm nice and straight and have a wee poke in there with your finger. You'll probably find a lot of pain and discomfort. We're not going too far down, we're not going onto the ribs themselves, and we're not going onto the triceps. Are we clear? We're not going onto the triceps. We're starting from pretty much, I tell you what, if you wear roll-on deodorant, pretty much where you put the roll-on deodorant, well, some of you, put the roll-on deodorant on. If you just come to the outside, that meaty bit there, that's the area we want to be foam rolling. So get your foam roller out. Be aware, this can be very nasty for some people, me included. Okay, so I'm going to lie side on, and this is where it's important. You keep the arm straight, just like I showed you before. We keep the arm straight, and I want you to lie side on with this foam roller. Keep the arm straight and keep the shoulder blade pinned. Doesn't work if you're rounded or if the arm's bent and that shoulder's rolled out, so I'm showing you now what not to do. Get the arm nice and straight, get that foam roller, and just work it down in to the armpit, but onto the muscle on the side. Okay, so here we are. I'm lying side on. Feels all right. I want you to start going side to side so you can see me just rocking backwards and forwards. My arm's straight, but I'm not tensing out the muscles, okay? So I don't want you to be tensing out the muscles here. So side to side. No pain, so I'm going to shift down a fraction of a millimetre. Side to side, okay, until you start to feel some sort of pain and discomfort, and it will not take long. Okay, keep going until you feel it. Once you start to feel the pain and discomfort encroaching in, keep going a wee bit further, because chances are there's a lot more where that came from. So you may have to, remember everybody, there's no dead set right way of doing this. You might have to lean back, and you'll probably have to lean back a bit. So you can see that I started here. I'm rolling side to side. It's when you start rolling back onto that actual back muscle that you're going to start feeling the tenderness creep in. So I found it. It's starting to creep in, but I know from personal experience, it's a lot more pain and discomfort, so I'm going to creep on a bit further. So now that I'm on it, okay, and all I'm doing here is just trying to support myself. So you've found the pain and discomfort, so what do you do now? It's a kind of limited movement, okay, because I'm lying side on. So all I want you to do is rock back and forward on that pain and discomfort. Up and down, up and down. And if you're doing this right, everyone, you should be feeling a good bit of pain and discomfort, especially if there's a lot of tightness to be had. If you only feel a wee bit, keep going, keep going. Aye, it's a horror. So with the arm, play around with the arm. You can move the arm if you like while you're pinning it down. Remember, make sure you're not in the triceps. You're in that meaty bit, and you're going to have to lean back a bit to get onto those back muscles, okay? Getting as much weight on there as you can. Okay, so if you are struggling, keep struggling. We're nearly done. I want you to ride the length of it now. So I want you to go up. Now you can see I have to kind of manually move myself. Because of the position I'm in just now, manually move yourself. Good. And then roll it back down. And just try, because it's a very small area, this one, okay? It's not a huge area we're working on. It's pretty much in at the back of that armpit. Nastiness. Okay, change sides. So I'm up. How are we doing on live? Are we getting that? I've not seen many people do that one correctly and not find it pretty excruciating. I'll remind you, from the side, I'm lying side on, and it's this area here, but to get that area, I have to slightly just lean back a bit onto the foam roller. It's a very limited area, so we can get away with rolling up and down, side to side. Okay, so target the full area. So I'm going to change arms. And because the position your body's in, you do kind of have to manually handle yourself. So straight away, arms straight, shoulder blades pulled together. I've got a proud chest, as in I'm not starting to round forward. Nice and proud. And then all I'm doing now is just rocking side to side, shift a wee bit more, rock side to side. Okay, just working against the grain of the muscle tissue until you start to encroach on that area of pain and discomfort. And it might take you a few passes. Okay, so side to side, make sure you're relaxed. Reasons you're not feeling it is you might be tensing up. So you do have to kind of, you can see me fidgeting here, you have to kind of manually handle yourself just to get in there. Okay, right, so now it's starting to get it now. So rock backwards and forwards, and again, all we're trying to do is work against the grain of the muscle, break it all up, open it all up, and get in as deep as we can here. I'm keeping that arm as straight as I can, but not tensed up, so it's still relaxed on the ground. And it's a bit of an awkward one. You'll feel awkward on it, but just do the usual. Make sure you're not overextending the spine. Make sure you've got that nice neutral posture. Okay, you find the pain and you do what you can to get stuck into it. Okay, you need to get a fair bit of weight on this one before you'll feel it. Okay, and it is, for most people, an area that could do with a, oh. So, now this is I really am struggling to talk normal. So this is an area where you really have to kind of explore it and give it your all to feel, oh, it's so easy not to, just with the amount of discomfort you can get on this one, it's so easy not to put your all into it. But please, if you're not finding pain and discomfort, keep exploring and make sure you're just leaning. You're kind of rolling back a bit onto the foam roller. So you're not leaning forward. You need to get onto that. Ooh. And it can sometimes take that side to side action just to move some stuff out of the way to get into it properly. And when you're on it, you're rocking side to side, backwards and forwards, doing what you can to try and break it up. And it is a bit of an awkward way to lie on the foam roller. So make sure that you are relaxed, because if you're not relaxed, that's why you're not getting on it. If that muscle group's tense, you ain't getting into it. Okay, well done everybody. So, first we try to break up and free up a bit of movement within the muscle tissue itself. Now, we're going to get our bench and we're going to stretch it out in that exact area. Combine those two together, this is a great way to target it. Okay, so that could be a pretty nasty one for a lot of people. Most people, I would say, especially if you exercise a lot. Okay, and then this is where I want you now to get your bench or your chair or whatever it is you're using. It doesn't have to be as high as this. And all I want you to do is get the elbows on it. And all I'm doing is using this so that I can get down nice and low on this stretch. So it's simple. I'm trying. I'll show you when I'm standing. Get into it if you're happy with it. All I'm trying to do is stretch out here so that I'm targeting that area that I've just foam rolled. Okay, so with your feet, with your knees, put your knees back as far as you can. The further back your knees, the more weight you're going to load up onto these arms. And what I want you to try and avoid is overextending that spine. So don't let the back start to invert. Keep it nice and tight. And try and relax. So it should be your triceps on the ledge almost of what you're using. Beginners, you'll feel a hell of a stretch on this. More advanced people, you'll be able to get down a bit further. So you can see that my head is between my arms. That's why we do it elevated, because if you were to do this on the floor, you wouldn't be able to stretch out fully. So it's the first stretch of the day, so I'll remind you, I'm trying to take it further. This is a fixed position 1, so you're using gravity to help take it further. Your hands, look at where my hands are, they're behind my head. That's helping lengthen everything out in the back of my arm, my triceps, tying into the lats as well, so it's getting a better stretch. Now the longer you hold this, the more stretch you should start to feel, because I'm focusing on my breathing, which is helping that muscle group relax, which is helping me get even more of a stretch as time goes on. So if you're fighting this because it's uncomfortable, it's not going to work. So this one is pretty uncomfortable, even for those who are fairly mobile. But just watch for the key mistakes. Don't overextend the back excessively. And make sure you're not fighting this stretch. So this is a good rehab for those of you with those zombie arms that I'm always continually talking about. Those who struggle to get their arms straight above their head without shrugging their shoulder, or cannot do so, relax there, cannot do so without bending their arms. So as I'm sat here just now, I pull my shoulder blades together, giving myself nice good form. I should be able to bring my arms out at 90 degrees, put them straight up above my head, have my biceps pretty much squeezed and in line with my ears, and pull them down without my shoulder girdle lifting up, okay, without me shrugging, without me starting to go like this basically. That is one of the key areas. So most people will feel tightness in here. That's where the dead hang's good. Simply hanging off a bar is going to get that, but it's going to get a lot more into it as well. Good upper body stretch, the dead hang. But to be more specific into targeting that area, that's a good combination. Foam roll the hell out of it, break up all that knotted up tissue, free up a bit of range within the muscle tissue, and then get the flexibility side done as well, and that should help address it. Right, next one. All about the pain this morning. I'm going to get into the triceps. So feeding off a bit higher now, up into the triceps, the back of the arms, tying in just above where you're, we'll stick with it, where you put your deodorant on. A wee bit higher up, okay? A wee bit higher up onto the meaty part of the triceps. We're going to start just below the elbow. So if you feel just below your elbow, you'll feel where it connects in, and you'll start to feel the triceps, okay? So I'm using the foam roller for this one. And for most people, it'll be a nasty one as well. So I want you just to simply lie in your front, get your elbow up onto the foam roller. Now this is where, see if you've got a foam roller with all the little grooves and things on it, try and get the actual pointy bit into the muscle tissue, because it's going to make it worse. But worse is going to make it better in this instance, okay? So I'm going to get my triceps just above the elbow joint, okay? And all I'm going to do, pretty simple, just like any other, I'm going to rock it side to side. Rock it side to side. I want you to then keep moving up. And I want you to, once you're in a decent position, straighten out the arm. But make sure when you straighten out the arm that you keep those triceps relaxed. Don't push the arm. If you push the arm, you're going to activate the triceps. So you need to play around with your body position here. Now this is where, rather than you rolling on the foam roller with your whole body, and you can see now my spine's slightly overextended, but it's fine because there's no weight on it as such. Manually move the foam roller. So I've got my other hand here. So I'm side to side, and I'm just going to move it up a wee bit, side to side, okay? So just grab the foam roller and actually move it, rather than you trying to shuffle around on the floor. Okay, like a fish out of water. We're going to just simply roll side to side. Once you find pain and discomfort, once you start getting right into the realms of that meaty bit of the tricep, probably you'll feel a pain and discomfort. Doesn't feel nice. I want you to simply start off pushing down into it. If you want, get your hand, put it on the bicep and push down even harder. Now remember, when you are pushing down, do it gradually so you can actually cope with it. Don't just go for it and then you're shaking and you're all stressed out. Focus on your breathing and just slowly introduce more pressure. And then for this one, keep rocking side to side. keep going backward and forward ever so slightly. We're working on that one area. Okay, I'm not working the full length of the tricep, I'm working on my problem area. Then to smash and floss on this one, easy this time, okay, easy. Keep the arm relaxed, keep pushing down on it, bring it up, take it down. Probably a better idea here that you keep pushing down with the bicep, keep pushing down on the bicep to keep the pressure on as you do so. And this is where, for most people, especially those who exercise regular, this is when you realise that, oh wait a minute, I don't actually ever really do my triceps. Okay, for people that do make foam rolling and stretching part of their routine, we always focus on the big muscle groups, more specifically the legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes. And we move on to do any upper body, it's always the big muscle groups like the back we focus on. You forget, okay, it sounds daft, but the arms are the legs of the upper body. Okay, how many times are you doing press ups, bench press, overhead press? How much are you spending time with weight on your arms? That's your triceps pushing. Okay, so these things get used and abused. And unfortunately, because they're just a small muscle group, they get forgotten about when it comes to this sort of stuff. Now, you've done the glute one probably, where we've smashed out the glutes with one butt cheek and then I get you to stand up and squeeze and you feel the difference in power. Relax there. I'm going to change arms. Think of the power that you could be robbing yourself off by not keeping on top of these. Feeding a wee bit of time back in rather than just take. Okay, so I'm going to change arms. So remember, I'm lying down, I don't need to move my body at all. Okay, I don't need to move my body at all. So all I'm doing, getting that arm nice and straight, rocking side to side with the foam roller, doesn't feel anything, so what am I going to do? Rather than shuffle my whole body around the floor, got my other hand, I'm just going to roll it back a wee bit, just a wee bit. Alright, it's feeling a wee bit tender there. Work the full length of your tricep, the full width, sorry. Okay, don't forget, roll to the side, roll away. Work the full length side to side until you start to find a bit of pain and discomfort. Once you find a bit of pain and discomfort, narrow it down, make sure you're on the worst part of it. I am now. So first part here is just relax that arm, push the weight down. And that's the tricky bit, that's the bit people get wrong, okay? A lot of people go a bit gun-ho with this, I can take the pain. Push down on it too hard, too soon, sure, maybe you are taking the pain, but it's too much. You're shaking, you're not relaxed. You have to be relaxed here. So I'm pushing down onto it, keeping that muscle group relaxed that I'm working on. And then if I want to, I can put my hand onto the bicep and just apply a bit more weight onto it. Okay, and while I'm doing that, just rock gently side to side. Break it up, backward and forward, okay? Roll the foam roller. When I say gradually, I mean work on the area that you're pinning down. Don't go off of it. Just imagine that you're trying to break up that tied up area, because that's exactly what we're doing. That's all we're doing. Focus on your breathing, bit more pressure, bit more weight. And then when you're ready, you can start bringing in the smash and floss technique here, simply by pushing down with that bicep, keeping the weight on, keeping the muscle tissue relaxed. And remember, if you get to a point where I've just lifted my arm here and it's absolutely disgusting, it's horrible. So rather than rush through it, you're going to end up tensing up and lifting weight off that foam roller because you'll find yourself resisting it. So again, if you're watching this recorded, you can pause it and spend more time on it. Okay, we're only spending 2 minutes aside because that's all we need to get a bit of improvement on a key area. For most people, we maybe had enough time to cover maybe quarter or half the length of the tricep there. Okay, we've still got all this to go, so remember, if you have the time, hit pause and spend more time on it, but we're going to move on, everybody. So let's get on with it. We're going to stretch out the triceps. We do it with a wall, with aid of a wall. This is my nearest wall to use, so I have to go a wee bit further away, but all I'm doing is I'm trying to, well, I'm not trying, arms straight up, bend the elbow, and you're trying to get that hand down your back. And all I'm going to do is use the wall as an anchor point, and I'm going to lean into it so that I'm getting weight on my elbow. Position your body correctly, and you should feel a good stretch running down the triceps. Okay, now you see people doing this one with a hand like that. That's fine, okay, but if you've got a wall, it's going to take the stress out of holding this here, which is going to allow you to get more weight on using the wall as well. So it's going to make it a better, more effective stretch. But like anything, play around with your body position here. Okay, you should be feeling it in the triceps. Make sure that hand is nice and tucked down your back as far as you can. Keep the shoulder in the joint, shoulder blades pulled together. stand nice and tall, nice and proud, and lean into that wall, you should feel a good stretch in the triceps, but you have to kind of play about your setup to make sure you're getting the best out of it. Good, we keep holding it, we keep trying to make sure we've got the best possible position we can. Good, and then I'm going to relax. I'm going to relax out of that and shake out, okay? So again, play around with your position, don't be lazy with it. If it doesn't feel like a good stretch, play around. If you are fairly flexible, okay, and especially after we've just done that, you'll find that it maybe feels a bit easier than normal, okay, because we've done the foam rolling before it. But don't be lazy with it, so I'm going to change arms. If the position doesn't feel quite good, make it better, okay? Now that I'm facing you, I'll be able to talk a bit clearer. So I've got the arm tucked down, as far behind my back as I can, while trying to get that elbow as tall as I can. So there's the key point. Get the elbow nice and tall, stand up tall and proud, keep the shoulder blade pulled together, and I want you to just keep that elbow as high as you can, hand going down as far behind your back as you can, and then when you're leaning into the wall, make sure that you don't start falling forward. Look, if you look at me now, if you are watching me, it doesn't matter if you're in a different position, but if I'm leaning forward, okay, I'm not lengthening it out the same, so I need to be tall and proud. I've got the elbow on the wall, and I want you to imagine you're trying to push your armpit towards the wall. Okay, so you're going to feel it in the triceps, but you may also feel it in the same kind of area that you felt it on in the bench. So you're going to feel it in the lats, okay, the latissimus dorsi, the lats, okay, and this is where you're in this position now. You've got the lats fully exposed, so get your finger there, feel them. There's my lats, okay, that's really running too. Okay, I can feel them now. Okay, good. So we're going for a bit of a full upper body overhaul today to break away from the lower body series we've been doing, which we're still doing, it's still ongoing, but upper body needs a bit of loving. Break it up a wee bit. So when I say full upper body, it's not absolutely everything. It's the key main areas, okay? Aimed at people that exercise. But even if you don't, you're going to feel the benefit. So when we exercise a lot, it's chest, it's back, it's shoulders, and arms to some degree, okay, which is pretty much the full upper body. Right, relax there everyone. Okay, next up, forearms time. Forearms, and this is where you've got the choice. Forearms, if you've done the forearms class before, you'll be one step ahead of people who haven't. Get a bench, get a coffee table. You can do it on the floor. You need a hard surface, okay? So my bench is pretty hard. So it doesn't work if you've got a big soft cushioned bit here, okay? So we need something that's not got much give in it, because if you start rolling on this ball and it's sinking in, you're not going to get the same pressure on. So you can use the floor if it's hard, but it just means you have to maybe get yourself in a weird position, so it'll work fine, don't worry. Plus me on my bench here makes it easier for people to see. So if you've done the forearm class, you've got a choice here. I want you to either, and you can feel your forearm, I want you to do the inside of the forearm here, running up into the elbow. You'll find that meaty part here, especially in towards the elbow, you'll find a lot of pain and discomfort. Or do on top. You'll feel the muscle group that runs on top against the bone, okay, and you can work that. Pick one and you've got 2 minutes. What you can, if you're not sure about doing, is just quickly go like that, or quickly get on top. Feel what one feels the worst, okay, well that feels nasty, and get stuck into it, okay. So for me, I'm going to do the inside. So all I'm doing is I'm starting basically, and see that wee knobbly bit of bone that comes out at the side and the inside of your forearm. I'm starting just under that, and I'm going to straighten out my arm, and that is where for a lot of people find a lot of pain in there, okay, a wee pocket of pain. Now, you put your body in whatever position you need to, okay? I've got the luxury of a bench here, so I can just lie like this. You might be lying flat out on the floor. So I've found pain and discomfort. Again, I know exactly where to go, and hopefully with experience you know all your little problem areas. But for most people, in that little nook of the elbow, you'll find pain. Getting down onto it and push the weight down onto it, and all I'm doing is just trying to rock back and forward. Work the entire length of the forearm here, so if you've got no pain and discomfort there, or you're doing the top of the forearm like I showed you for option 2, just work the full length of the muscle. You'll feel the bone, okay? You'll feel the bone. We don't feel no bone because you don't get anything from it. But just work around the muscular tissue, in and around the bone, looking for little pockets of pain and discomfort. As soon as you find one, you've got enough time to make an improvement on that area instead of just doing the whole forearm. So I'm pushing down, and again, with the luxury of having a bench, I can just get all my weight loaded on here, but in a pretty chilled out position. It's not enough just to hold it, so I'm trying to break it up. So how do we smash and force in this instance? It comes with the wrist, okay? So I can rotate my wrist around. That's one way to do it. You can even pump your fist, but that's more contract, relax, which you'll feel, and that's fine. That's all I'm trying to do. Just trying to break up. You can push down on it with the other hand if you like. So you might not be doing the same position as me, that's fine. I just want you to pick one. Pick an area that needs the most work out of your forearm, find a bit of pain and discomfort, okay, and you're laughing. Spend a bit of quality time on it. Forearms, used and abused, okay? Those who exercise a lot, anytime you're gripping a bit of weight or something, a bar, dumbbells, okay, it's the forearms, the muscles in the forearms are responsible for that gripping action and holding that bar. So they get used and abused, very much so. For those who sit typing at a desk, okay, you're going to find that very restricted, horrible range. A lot of people sit with the edge of their wrist sitting on a sharp desk. It's no good for us. Okay, so break up all that tissue, all that knotted up tightness and pain, get rid of it, and then change arms when you're ready. Don't pick a different option for this arm. Whatever area you just worked on, replicate it onto this side. Okay, and I'll remind you, if you're not sure where to go, this is a good bit for most people. If you're feeling at your elbow there, in the inside of your elbow, you'll feel the bone sticking out, okay? You'll feel that wee crook of bone. Just below that, in at that area, you'll find a kind of meaty part of muscle. Get stuck in on that, get the weight down, have a wee wobble side to side and in a circle until you feel pain and discomfort, and I guarantee for most people, you'll find a bit of pain and discomfort in there. Okay, that's me just giving you an idea if you're not sure where to go, or you're just looking for a painful spot. You could be doing across the top of the forearms, that's fine. There's no right or wrong here. Okay, it's a big area. We don't have enough time to sit and do everything, the entire length of the forearm. Okay, it's an overhaul of the upper body. So this is where giving it time, and the fact that if you did do the target forearm and tricep one that we done not so long ago, you'll know the painful spots that need work. Okay, and there's a lot of pain and discomfort in and around the forearms, let me tell you that for nothing. So don't forget your arms. Okay, going to lead to shoulder pain, going to lead to elbow pain if we let all this muscle tissue start to seize up and lose that range of movement in it. Okay, again, looking at me now, it looks like I'm fairly chilled, the rest assured I'm not. I'm pushing as much weight down on that area as I can, and when I try to wobble around, it's just disgusting. Okay, so that's an area that I know I need work on. But we do work on it, and that's exactly what we're doing now. So pushing down, pump the wrist, okay, and then you can rotate, rotate, rotate the wrist also, while pinning that area down. Good. And that is us. Right, now we're going to get a mat, unless you've got a decent bit of flooring. And now we're going to combine the mobility work with the flexibility work on the wrists. So, I'm on my knees. I want you to get, if you've got a big watch on that's pretty tight, either take it off or move it higher up your wrist. All I'm doing here is I'm bringing my fingertips round so that they're facing back towards me here. Okay. Then I'm planting the whole entire hand onto the ground. Position your body in whatever way you want, but all I'm doing now is simply coming back. Okay, so I'm coming back on myself, and that is going to stretch out all the length of the forearm up here. Okay, the inside of your forearm. It's an uncomfortable one, so make sure you stay relaxed. And we stay relaxed by not going too far too soon. So I want you to make sure that your fingertips are indeed pointing directly backwards. They're not off at 45 degrees. Your middle fingers should be pointing towards your kneecaps. Okay, that's the indication that you're in the right place. I'm leaning back, I'm feeling that stretch out. Stay relaxed. Keep the hands relaxed. Keep the hands firmly on the ground. Take it to a point that's uncomfortable. And just like the other stretches, focus on your breathing. Add an extra wee inch. Boom. Okay, stay relaxed. Once you feel you're in control of that, go a wee bit further. As I keep saying, when I say when you feel relaxed, each time you move a wee bit further, you're going to have more discomfort in it. Okay, it's not a case of you're holding it until you feel the discomfort ease off. It's not that. Okay, you'll find that you're constantly increasing the discomfort with the range that you're increasing. But your muscles will relax just a slight bit, that will let you go just that slight bit more. Okay, so yeah, you have to work it and it's uncomfortable. Just keep working it, stay relaxed. So we're nearly there. I'm going to do this, ease out of this, get into a chest stretch, and then we'll wrap it up there nicely. And that'll be a quick fire, full upper body overhaul with all the key areas that are going to give us a bit of problem. And that will lead us back on nicely into part 4 of the lower body overhaul, which is us now starting to go down into the lower body. As in, not the lower body, the lower leg, the knee below, calves, ankles, feet. Right, I want you to ease out. Now as you do, it's going to be awful. I'll tell you that for now. Take your time. Slowly, you can see how slow I'm going here, slowly come out of it. Now once you're out of it, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable for most, but it's just open and shut your fists. Shake it out gently and let the blood flow back in, okay? We've restricted the blood flow in there, and that's where it just feels pretty uncomfortable and pretty nasty. Shake it out, okay? Clear a bit of space, so if you've got your gear everywhere, get it off to one side, because we're going to need a bit of floor space for this next one, and it's for classic lying down chest stretch. Before we go down, let me make sure you're doing it right. All I'm doing when I'm lying on the floor, so this is what you can't see because I'm facing the floor, I'm lying like this, and I'm making sure this shoulder is staying pulled in nice and tight, okay? And as I'm rolling away, make sure you don't start rolling the shoulder, because that's us then giving into the stretch. So even though you're going further, you're not increasing the stretch. So all I'm trying to do is stay nice and tall, nice and proud, roll into my shoulder, roll into that arm, but keep the shoulder and the shoulder blade itself pulled down, nice proud chest. Okay, that's where people go wrong. They start rounding out as they're going. So let me show you. Get stuck into it. Again, if you're familiar, make the most of it. Boom, I'm out to the side. I've got the arm out, 90 degrees. I'm going to think about planting that hand and not letting that hand come off. Then all I want you to do is exactly what I said when I was stood up. Pull the shoulder blade together in that nice proud chest and start rolling towards your arm. As you roll towards your arm, you might have to maneuver your body into a weird position with your legs as such, but that chest stays proud, that shoulder blade stays pinned, and that hand stays firmly on the ground. So I'm rolling into it. Now, with the other arm, see if you put it out in front of your chest, you can almost use it as a stabilizer to push yourself and enhance the stretch. So with this arm, I'm out in front and I'm just going to push into the ground a little bit, which should in turn then feel like you're getting just that wee bit further, because if it is pretty tight or you take it to a point in which you can't go much further, you're going to struggle to get further unless you get a wee bit of assistance, a wee bit of push with that other arm. Make sure that the arm that we're stretching out, the chest that we're stretching out, stays relaxed though. Just imagine it's sinking into the ground from the shoulder joint all the way down to the hand. So this is a chest stretch, but with that we're bringing in the shoulder. You're going to feel the front of the shoulder getting stretched out as well. Deepen the shoulder joint. You may even feel the stretch running down your biceps. If your biceps are pretty tight as well, with this arm being pretty much locked out straight and being wedged straight, you'll find that your biceps into the forearm, into the elbow is also getting a decent wee bit of stretch out. So we get a lot from this if we do it right. Doing it wrong is simply people starting to round their shoulder out. So I'm holding this position, but the whole time I've been talking, I've been just trying to take it a wee bit further and a wee bit further and a wee bit further, sensibly, okay? With stretching, we shouldn't be getting pain, we should just be getting discomfort, that stretch sensation kind of discomfort. We shouldn't be getting shooting pain, we shouldn't be getting any heat and cold or numbness. It should just be that stretch, okay? And relax, so simply roll back onto your front. Get the other arm out. Same again, before you start committing to the roll, don't let the shoulder round, pull the shoulder blade back, keep that chest nice and proud, so chances are the front of your shoulder's probably off the ground if you're doing it properly. Okay, and then I'm simply rolling, but do it slowly, do it gradually, don't let that shoulder, if you feel that shoulder roll, ease back off, pull it back in, and start rolling round, okay, and again, that's when you then have to move your legs into whatever position you need to. I've got my arm out, and I'm just going to push that arm into the ground, try and help stabilise, and put me in less of a stress position, okay? And just you do what you need to do to enhance that stretch. Keeping that hand flat on the ground, please. So this is the last stretch. This is the last, pardon me, this is the last one we're going to finish off with now. So I'll summarise now. Upper body, done. Okay, sure thing. There's a lot more we could do with upper body, but just like any area is vague and is vast as upper body or lower body, we could spend hours, literally hours, getting into every nook and cranny. The idea is 2 minutes each side. So if you found today, oh look, you know what, my triceps were horrendous when I foam rolled them. I didn't even know. Start doing a wee bit of 2 minutes on it randomly now and again, working the full length of your tricep. And you should feel a good bit of improvement. 2 minutes per side, you don't have to do anything else. Got a spare couple of minutes, get the foam roller out, make an improvement, put something back in to your body. Okay, that's the way to look at it. We ask a lot of our bodies, we take a lot out constantly. If you just keep taking, something's going to give, okay? So spend that time, take it from me. You'll get caught out when you least expect it. And especially, you'll start to know the areas you need work on. Don't be ignorant to them. Okay, if there's a lot of work to be done, sometimes that puts people off. If they're really bad at something or they know they've got a lot to do before they're going to start getting better, that's enough to put people off. Fitness, mobility, flexibility, you've got to start somewhere. You can all end up at the same place. Some of us start a lot further behind than others, but the idea is start now, do something, and within time you're going to feel a big improvement, okay? It's not the most exciting thing to be doing, but for me personally, if I wasn't doing this recording in a silent place, I'd have some music on, zoning out. It's not that bad, okay? Bear that in mind. If you're completely muted and you're listening to me, get some tunes on rather than listening to me heavy breathing. Right, we're done. Mobility 50, oh jeez, I've forgotten, 52 potentially. And we'll move back onto lower body next time. Thank you.